This is Darren. I'm back. The moment that I've at least been waiting for, the cockpit. When it came to the cockpit, you have to remember I had built it almost 5 years ago. And when I took it apart, I did not take any notes. I didn't take any idea of how I had built it. So all this is me really trying to figure out the new design, the new way to fit the characters in there with the new seats. So one of the biggest problems was the undercarriage had to support quite a bit of weight. And in my first design, I had it floating in the air. I didn't have any support underneath it to the table. Thanks to editing, you don't have to watch me test and over test and over test because I put it back on the Millennium Falcon about 40 freaking times trying to figure out if it fit, if the pieces lined up properly, if the hallway connected properly. I put it back on there about 50 times through this whole video. That exterior hallway wall, I'm sorry I didn't have a better video of it. It was very complicated because I had to connect it there in a way that it only connected in like maybe two spots, yet I could still put the cockpit in and take a hallway piece out for display reasons. And also in the floor, there's a trap door, not a trap door, but a trap access point. At this point, I was trying to figure out the bottom of it, the curves and everything. On nowhere on the Millennium Falcon do I do any of the exterior or the bottom. This is really the only point in where I take any consideration to seeing it from below. Only because it's floating in the air right there in your face, and everybody wants to see the cockpit to begin with. So the redesign and the cockpit were very important to me. I wanted the new seats in there, so I needed a lot more room than there was in the first version. So making the sides of the cockpit able to actually push out a little bit, to open up a little bit, was also a thing that I discovered while building it was very helpful. This forward window, the viewport through the front of the cockpit, I didn't have it on the first version, so this is all brand new to me. I must have built this thing about 4 times, tore it apart, rebuilt it again. I looked at tons of videos and tons of pictures, and there was just no good way to do it without having something non-Lego made for it. So I went through all my stock and I found a couple of pieces that really hit me as they could work great for that front window, but it was putting together and making them fit in a way that was true to the Millennium Falcon. And as you can see, as more of the more subtle details go on there, my table is just covered. And I also have a little table to my left that's completely covered, all in little pieces that I think might work and that I want to try and that sometimes I just never even use, but I have that idea when I pick them out of the stock that I'm going to try to use it inside the build somewhere. It's not till around this part that I'm trying to figure out the layout of the cockpit area around the chairs, how I'm going to mount some more of the control panels, and the pictures that I did find, the color schemes, and trying to stick more to the original look of New Hope. Although it's in one video, this all takes place within like a week. Closer in, you can see that I'm adjusting some of the mounts for the control panels, but my concern was the chairs, how they moved, how they worked, because I wanted them to be able to turn. They didn't necessarily had to spin around. The front two seats needed a little bit of movement. Although the UCS version more finished on the outside, I wasn't as worried about the outside as the details inside. That's what my whole build is about. What's inside, the use of it. Even being able to use the minifigs in there in a way that was fun, that was playable. This is Darren.